Hi Taurus, welcome to your February 2021 Tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note about my readings. They are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three of them to give you a clearer and more complete picture of how these speak to you, and more importantly, which part of you, myself as a tarot reader, resonates with. All right. The more you know, the more you know. So with that said, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. Before we start, just wanted to let you know again, please don't forget that I have a brand new channel that is all about meditation, guided visualizations, and I have a whole bunch more of them coming out, and some of them are going to be nice, short and sweet to help set you up for your day or some sort of a event that you might have going on. So let's check it out. For your actions and options, actions and interactions with the world at large, you have the Hermit card, right? So this month, you may be flying sort of what we would call below the radar, right? So this is going to be what I would consider a relatively quiet month for you. And I think a lot of the reason being is because you are what we would say, like, this is about you really preparing yourself for those intuitive nudges or hits that you've had over the course of, let's say, the last 3 to 6 months. Now, your Hermit card is very often where you kind of withdraw from the world, or you start to intently focus on something. Now, very often you can't really split your focus like that. If you're going to focus on the matter at hand or delve deeper into a subject, you can't be doing so many other things at the same time. So this month I kind of feel like it's almost like you saying, you know what, I'm happy to give the social time up. I'm happy to not have time to do this and this, because I know what the end goal is. This is about you focusing on something that you really want to complete, or something that you're really passionate about, but it's about you gathering the knowledge and maybe even gaining the skills that you need in order to see something through to completion. I get the feeling that you're working on something big and it's kind of going on behind the scenes, which is really, really fun, and it's actually really exciting. And this Hermit card basically says that you're doing what we could say like the mature thing, right? It's like, okay, you know what, if I have to choose between this and this is the most important thing to me at the time, I'm going to have to let this go. And so this, you know, like I said, it kind of feels like you're pulling out of that. Now, what's the thing that I always say when we see the Hermit card? When the Hermit card shows up, the High Priestess has a message for you. So what is the question here? What is it that your intuition or your psychic awareness is trying to let you know? What is coming in? Pay attention to that this month, because the chances are, through your actions and your devotion and dedication to this thing that you're trying to build, you're going to get understandings, nudges, hints and touches from the universe to say you're going in the right way, and this is what you need to add, or this is what you need to do. For your money and materials, you have the Five of Wands, right? So when it comes to the finances this month, you know, and I say this out of all love because I know quite a few Taurians, Taurus likes nice things, right? You like comfort and security in the material realm. Coupled with the Hermit card, there may be a feeling this month, right? Now, you're working on something quite big and this is taking all of your time. However, when it comes to the finances, there might be a moment this month where you think, oh, you know, well, if I can't do that, maybe it means that I'm not doing as well as I possibly can. What I'm trying to say to you is, I don't want you to get onto the I don't want you to get into the competition this month. So if you see somebody else splashing the cash or doing this or doing that, remember, you have your path, you have your goal. Stay focused on this at this moment in time, because this is the most important thing to you, right? Whatever somebody else is doing, buying, you know, new car, new house, whatever, that's their journey. It's not yours. And you don't need to step onto the stage. You don't need to compete with them. First of all, because you're like Taurus, hello. Right? So in the long run, you're going to come up trumps anyway, right? So this month, when it comes to the finances, don't put yourself out of pocket. Don't pull yourself off of your path just for the sake of being able to compete with somebody else. All right, that's the big message this month when it comes to the finances. When it comes to your materials, I mean, health looks good. It looks like you've got a lot of health, a lot of vitality this month. It looks like you're really doing very well in that regard as well. And, you know, when it comes to the home front, one of the things that I will say to you is it looks like it's going to be... It's almost like someone, or maybe even a set of someone's, you know, maybe this is family members or friends, like maybe they're trying to invite themselves over and you're like, well, you know, I'm really busy at the moment working on this and this. I don't have time to devote to somebody else. And this isn't about being, you know, pernickety or snobby or anything like that. It's just your focus this month cannot be split. You've got things that you need to focus on that are more important than anything else, whether that's other people's drama, whether it's their challenges, their issues, or even just they want to come over for a glass of wine. You know, obviously have a break and stuff. I'm not saying stick your nose to the grindstone and leave it there. I'm just saying this is a month to really think about what your priorities actually are. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Five of Swords, right? So there will probably be some crossed wires this month. Now you've got the Five of Wands right next to the Five of Swords. You've got two fives. Two fives is about what you put in your focus on at this moment in time. The key word for it actually is a vigil. And what is a vigil? It's something that you intently focus and spend your energy on. So this month, it's really important where your mind is, where your mindset is at. You've got to stay focused because you've got something that needs to be done. Your Five of Swords suggests that when it comes to communications, there's going to be more than a few crossed wires this month. And as such, you know, keeping your head down and flying underneath the radar seems like a pretty good way to use this energy. So just be aware of that over the course of this month, all right? For your heart and half, you've got the Lovers card. So I don't see any challenges, maybe a little bit of bickering with you and the partner. If you're married, if you've got a boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. Maybe you're part of a throuple, who knows. But if, you know, it does suggest that there's going to be like a little bit of bickering, but not much more than that, right? The Lovers card suggests that the love is there, the connection is there. And one of the things that I want you to really be aware of this month, especially, don't let anybody get in the way of the relationship, whether that is a friend, whether it's a family member. You know, this month, keep those things separate as much as you possibly can, because I kind of feel like your relationship is going to be the space that you retreat to this month. And, you know, so in that case, you want to keep it as clean, clear and functioning well as you possibly can. So let's have a look at your weeks of the month to see what comes up. Oh, okay. So your jumping card for the first week of the month is the Hanged Man, right? Very interesting because, yeah, Hanged Man represents Neptune / Pisces. And then you've got the Hermit card there, which is Virgo. So you've got this kind of, there's something being balanced out in your life over this first week of the month. And this first week of February is going to be very quiet. It's going to be very low key. And this is exactly where you want it, right? This is exactly how you need it to be. There's, for a select few of you that are so inclined, which, let's face it, if you're here watching a tarot reading, you're kind of at least spiritually inclined, all right? Like, even if it's just a little bit, you kind of are. This week, pay attention to your spiritual intuition, pay attention to your spiritual leanings, right? This week, I really feel like you're going to get an understanding of what your soul actually wants for the next leg of your journey. And that's really, really important to know, especially if you got my email a couple of weeks ago at the time of watching, well, last week at the time of watching this. I see your soul as kind of like, it's like the most childlike part of you. And when it starts kicking off and making you uncomfortable, you feel like you're in pain, it means that it's unhappy, right? And this week you could discover what's going to make you happy at that soul level. So pay attention to that. On a physical sort of level, this would be a really good week. This first week would be a really good week to do a detox of some sort, or, you know, and not just for the first week, but maybe, you know, maybe there's something this month that you can let out. So, you know, maybe this month you say, right, I'm gonna not add sugar to my tea, or I'm not going to have any chocolate, or I'm not going to drink this month. Like, and it doesn't have to be excessive. It just has to be like one thing that you know has a bit of a toxic effect on your physical health. So this would be a really good week to start something like that. For your second week of the month, you have the Judgment card underneath the Five of Wands. Right, so an old I want to say like an old debt may come up this week. Also, I don't know what to call it really. An old collaboration or a collaborator, or, you know, maybe somebody that you used to work with or somebody that you worked alongside might resurface this week. And with that Five of Wands, I will say this: I don't think it's a very beneficial path for you. So, especially if you have your own business or you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, and you've worked with this person before, I don't see it going very well. My advice to you would be to steer clear. If you work for somebody else, this week, this month even, keep the best ideas for yourself. It's not the time to put them forward. There'll be a better time where you will be able to shine. For your third week of the month, you have the Emperor card coupled with the Five of Swords. Excuse me. For those of you that do have bosses, or work underneath someone, or, you know, alongside even an institution, this would be a month where you really, I mean, especially this third week of the month as well, whatever the rule book says, defer to that. Now, most Taurians, to be honest with you, I mean, well, I say that since Uranus went into Taurus, you guys have been a little bit more, a little bit more carefree, let's say. But all jokes aside, this third week of the month, really, whatever the rule book says, follow that. If you try to cut a corner, if you try to circumvent the rules, the regulations, etc., the chances are not only will you get caught out, but the retribution might be really swift. This is akin to one of those moments, like if anybody that's a life path 9, a life path 4, and probably a life path 1, those three in particular, if you have any of those life paths, you will know the second you step out of line or you do something out of integrity, boom, you get hit with it. And you tend to get hit harder with it when you have those life path numbers. It's like everybody else can cut corners, they can cheat a little, they can do whatever they want, but those three in specific, they really get hit very hard. Well, them and the master numbers, but that's for a whole other video. This week, this third week of the month of February, you don't have the luck for it. Stick to the rules, stick to the regulations, do what needs to be done, and just show up in that way. For your fourth week of the month, you have the Death card. All right, so this month, for some of you Taurians, you're going to be, for those of you that are in relationships specifically, it looks like this month you're going to be presented with an option to either pay off a debt or to get rid of something, and it kind of sees you like, well, you know, we could do it, but then we won't have the extra cash, do you know what I mean? And I kind of feel, if I'm completely honest with you, because it is the Death card, it's basically saying forego your desires. This is a month, in fact the whole month, I'm going to call this video delayed gratification, right? That's got to be your mantra this month, right? Whatever sacrifices you make over the course of this month, I promise you they will pay off at a later date, but you have to give this month in order to gain later. Whether you do or don't, obviously, of course, it's completely up to you. So for your key to the month, you have the Moon card, right? So this is very interesting. Remember, the Moon card, much like human beings, very, very reflective. It tends to see us looking over or reflecting on the past, and in a lot of ways, excuse me, it tends to bring something back into the fold. Now, it can also as well, one of the things with the moon card, sometimes it can distort things, right? So if at any point of this month you think to yourself like, oh, you know, I'm sacrificing all of this, at that point you're about to have a breakthrough. Remember, this month, whatever the delayed gratification is, just give it now, because the rewards and the results from it at a later date will be so much better. So if you have to be that person that's like, oh, you know, I can't go for wine with the girls tonight because I've got to work on this, or I can't go and see my friends because I've got an assignment due, or do you know what I mean? Like, even with all of the lockdown stuff, and do you know what I mean? It's about doing what needs to be done now, so that when it comes to later on, you've already done what you need to do and you can just collect. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.